afternoon. I don't know, it's noon, so what should we say? I hope you're all doing really well. You're having a great show. You're going perhaps around Paris Design Week. It's an absolute pleasure to have you today with us for this panel, where we're going to talk about a really captivating topic, which is artificial intelligence, and basically the evolution of its role within the creative world, and in particular in design, interiors, and product development. So today, the goal will be to discuss in the impact in the way actually artificial intelligence is helping, enhancing, becoming a partner for design professionals, creative professionals to develop, like new foresights, new ideas, new products. Today, I'm very pleased to welcome two great experts with us on this panel. There's Michael Cleghorn from MC&Co Trend, a trend intelligence and foresight company. And then we have the pleasure to have Philippe Delaisse, the co-founder of Ethnicraft. So thank you very much for being here today.
Pleasure.
It's great to have you both,
Thank you,
especially from very far away.
Yes, yeah, but as we're saying, late summer in Europe as opposed to late winter in Australia, we're really happy to.
Yes, and we have beautiful days in Paris these days, yeah, so that's quite pleasant. We're going to talk about AI. AI is a really broad topic, obviously. We can think of tools, workflows, and so on and so forth. It keeps surprising us. I wanted to start by asking, both of you, and perhaps we could start with you, Michael. How do you actually use AI these days?
Well, thanks, Romain. AI for us, it's really a collaboration tool for what we do. And just to explain what MC&Co Trend does, we are a trend forecasting business where we work with clients around the world to help them interpret what styles, what looks, what colors, what fabrics they should be working with. In the past, all we could do to show what we saw coming forward was to put a collage of either something very abstract and some words together. With AI now, we can really show very detailed examples of where our imagination goes. It's all based in a structure behind the AI use. So we use AI in image generation to really be able to interpret our imagination of what's coming forward, so we can give a forward position that is qualified.
Very interesting. What about you, Philippe?
We might use AI at different levels for product design, text to image.
How does that work?
Yeah, we're just imagining new functions, new product designs based on our development plans and based on what we want to achieve.
Okay.
So on another level, we also might use it for copywriting, for sure. It's also great use to
I do too.
To help a lot.
I have to say, yeah, it's fantastic.
And then a third one is also for renderings or for product settings. I mean, we always start with real pictures and real environments.
Okay.
But then we might use these pictures to imagine different cultural settings, different environments. So these are the three main domains where we use AI.
And Michael, for instance, like you're using AI for instance, trend mapping and foresight. Could you actually run us through a concrete example of how you use AI and actually explaining as well perhaps what trend mapping is for people who might not know?
Yeah, I think, and maybe it's important for the audience to note that every image that you see behind us is being created in AI. None of those are real images from our forecasts, and images of the work that we have done with Ethnicraft to interpret their brand DNA through AI. And I think to answer your question on the trend mapping, we don't use AI to research the trends. This is something that we have a very robust and dedicated process that we use called trend intelligence, we are mapping aesthetic evolution over time. And once we have that structure in place, we use that to work with AI on the image generation.
Okay. So can you tell us a little bit more about this structure in place?
Well, we are constantly measuring.
I hope I'm not being too nosy.
No, no, no.
Okay.
It's fine. It's the basis of what we do. We are constantly researching where's the movement in aesthetics, and through three particular filters. The first filter is how are consumer aspirations changing and evolving based on socioeconomic, geopolitical factors in the world. We're looking at that. We look at how things are changing in how people use color, how they're using layering in their interiors, how they're using shape, and what's the intersection of those areas. We also look at where different styles are on the trend curve. So for us, I come from a product development background. It's really important for us to provide very commercially focused interpretations, not esoteric.
So this structure you're talking about is solely human-led, right?
Yes, it's all analog.
It's all analog. It's all with your team of experts that are based in Australia and around the world as well. Yes, so correspondence. And so this is the structure in place. And then what happened, like where does the AI tool or,
Well, it's all about the prompt.
Okay.
To get the image, it's all about the prompt and the quality of the prompt. So that structure that we have helps our teams guide our teams as to what goes into the prompt.
All right.
And that then, without that structure, our experience is you just get noise.
Does everyone know what a prompt is? I know that might sound obvious, but if you can...
It's the words, the instructions you give to AI on how to generate the image that's going to be there. And so the more detail that you put into that prompt, the better the result.
And sorry, I'm staying with you, Michael, and basically it's a specific tool, a specific AI tool that you're using, that's available, that you've designed yourself, or like...
We use a readily available... We use a readily available AI platform, but our team has done now over 55,000 prompts.
Okay.
And so we have trained that model into how to interpret the prompt, and then of course it's the editing. It's like anything; it's the editing of the images.
So, would you say that with this 50,000 prompt, that you basically have a new member in the team or multiple new members in the team?
Yeah, and that team member can sometimes go rogue as well.
Yeah.
You can put the prompt in. For example, we did a prompt recently for something and for a furniture item, and what came was a man in a velour tracksuit.
Sorry?
A man it created an image of a gentleman in a velour tracksuit when we were actually wanting it to do something completely different. So it goes rogue sometimes. So it's the edit and the tenacity to keep working.
Philippe, so Ethnicraft is rooted in like strong values, craftsmanship. AI might sound like a completely different world, from the world that you've built your company into. Can you tell us a little bit more how AI has actually enhanced the way you perhaps develop new products or understand consumers' behavior? Like, how about that?
Yeah, there might indeed be a potential contrast between the craftsmanship and the AI work, or how that goes. Basically, we still remain very authentic, very craftsmanship. We will make every sample in the workshop in different materials. Could be cardboard or foam or wood. Or we still keep all these practices. We don't throw that away.
Of course.
But we came into contact, I think, about 2.5 years ago with an American customer who did the product evaluation for a large collection in Indonesia. And at one stage, they showed us a picture of an item. They said, maybe we should go for this outdoor item. Or what do you think about that? I said, yeah, possibly, but it exists already. And then the lady said, no, I generated it myself with Midjourney. So I did it myself. And then I tried to find out more. And then I had, I think I didn't sleep at night because there was the discovery of AI. So we started to look at that. Basically, for Ethnicraft, we have on one side the Ethnicraft brand, and on the other side, we have a lot of private label work. So we also produce and design and develop collections for big American retailers.
Which ones?
Like Restoration Hardware, Crate and Barrel.
Okay.
So Rejuvenation, Our House. So these are big American brands that are constantly looking for new collections.
Okay.
And we use maybe AI in a more intense way for this kind of work.
Okay.
Whereby we need to start from scratch and we want to really show what we can do. For Ethnicraft, it's more measured. It's more it's a bit a slower process. We keep on.
So when you say we show what we do, you mean like you're able to kind of like get a very clear visual representation of what it would be, or like what do you mean exactly?
Yes, I mean the big American brands, they come to us because we have the production infrastructure, because we have the materials, because we have the know-how, all the craftsmanship in-house. So we try to illustrate our skills and propose them really takeaways or really collections that they can immediately buy and insert in their assortment.
And this is something that you feel is kind of like helping you convince or interact with your prospect or your clients in a much more, I don't know, like trust is more easy to gain, or it saves time, or like what's the...
Absolutely, it saves time. It makes beautiful renders. It's very fast. But then again, I need to stress a little bit the collaboration we had with Michael as we started a collaboration last year. So first, we were a customer of Michael. His trend books before AI, whereby he was using existing brand images.
How long have you worked together before?
No, I was just a customer. You could just buy the trend books.
I know, but when you were buying...
I think it was about 2 years or two or 3 years.
Yes.
And then Michael contacted me and he said, yeah, I'm working on something new. You know, the brand images will be replaced by AI. I want your feedback. What do you think about it? And then he showed me the first Modern Nature, which was it was just all by video, so just sharing his...
The first what, sorry? Mother Nature?
The first booklet that Michael made was it's called Modern Nature.
All right.
So there was... so he shared his screen, and then he went through that catalog, and I was, again, another sleepless night. It was unbelievably well done. Because it was very complete. It was very cohesive. I mean, you had the tableware, the walls, the colors, the sofa, everything fitted very well together.
Okay.
So I found that very spectacular, and then my feedback was basically, yeah, I like what you do, it's great, but I mean, then again, you're going to show it to the rest of the world, so... And then Michael came back and he said, no, we can also personalize, and we can also develop something specially for you or with you. Correct?
So yeah, so Michael, like a very interesting collaboration. How do you feel that this has helped you enhance the services you offer to your clients?
I think it's
particular with Ethnicraft.
Oh no, if we look at Ethnicraft as the example, what we can do now with Ethnicraft. So if you're looking at the screen, some of them have the Ethnicraft logo. This is all ways that we have looked at the styles and the trends that are moving forward. We then spend time with Ethnicraft going through this robust process, and we map their aesthetic DNA with them, which is quite interesting. And then we use that to prompt into AI to say, what is the Ethnicraft point of view on this style evolution? So we get a very, very personalized, brand-specific interpretation of things that are happening in the market. And this is the deeper levels of AI in terms of how it adds value to our clients.
So in that process, Michael has a lot of experience in styling and design, obviously, after, a fantastic career and many years of experience. But beside that, he's also extremely data-driven. So it's very, we went into a very deep dive. We went into looking at all our sales details, wood species, functions, different collections. And based on that, we identified opportunities, weaknesses, problems. And then we went to define a complete plan. What should we do? Where are the opportunities? Where are the risks? And then we fill that in with AI, as well as, for us, obviously, upholstery is a big opportunity. We only have a very limited number of collections, and we could do much more. So based on that, with Michael, Michael developed a complete booklet with what would that be? Upholstery for Ethnicraft. How many collections? What are the opportunities? What are the options? And he made a beautiful work whereby he identified different directions, about 9 or 10 directions, I think. It's very easy. I mean, when you have when you have all that work in front of you, it's very easy to decide. You can very easily pick and go further and develop further.
And I think this is one of the really important things about how we use AI and how it is adding value to our clients, is that inspiration part of the designs process.
Okay. In which sense?
Is shortened. Yeah. Just the ideas that can be generated, so many ideas that then inspire Philippe and his design team to say, we're going to take that element, we're going to take that element, and we'll take that element, and we will then use our human design, our own experience, to interpret that from both an aesthetic perspective, but also a manufacturing perspective.
Okay, tell us more about that.
Well, AI will produce, wonderful imagery, etc. But if you look at them, we call all of these images that you're seeing imaginings. They are imagined products, imagined ideas, and you can look at some of them and say, I'm not sure how I would have that made. Not quite sure how that would come together.
Okay.
And then the designer takes that and reworks the design into using their own human intelligence and their knowledge of manufacturing. Okay.
So you would say, just to give a little bit of a perspective, because we're talking about basically the positive outcome of AI, in comparison to when you were not using AI, like what is the sort of like, what is the difference? Like what has really come as something really clearly as an improvement?
I think there's two things particularly. One is how much more we can forecast. How many different, like there are hundreds and hundreds of trends and styles. You walk around here today and you see dopamine brights, and you see neutrals, and you see playful things, and you see architectural things, and you see very crafted things. So we don't align to any one particular philosophy of what is a trend or what is a style. We look at all of them, and we show what they are. So we can do 12 times, worked out 12 times the amount of work that we could do before we used AI. The second thing is it allows us to give very, very aligned focus in terms of a theme. So we can look at the living room, the dining room, the tabletop, the architecture, the outdoor, all of those things we couldn't do before because we couldn't find that imagery.
That, I'm sorry, I don't understand. What
so
do you mean by that?
So if you look at the image behind you, you're showing modern nature in Paris, but it also shows you the vase, it shows you the dinnerware, it shows you the bathroom, all fully aligned through that concept, and that's the big difference.
So you push the concepts to limits to, that you actually were a little bit limited by before, like you're redefining new limits.
Expanding the opportunity. We have many different clients. Philippe is in furniture. We have clients that only do bathroom vanities, dinnerware clients, people that just work in towels or tiles. We can take all of that, personalize into each of those product categories. That is the big difference.
And so, do you feel that, are you also integrating this idea of like training your team to also grow with the technology that's evolving constantly, basically, or?
We need to keep up with. We need to keep up with it. We were talking before. We are in very early days with AI, just the very, very beginning. I remember, for me, maybe it was 2 years ago, I went to my first webinar and someone showed me what ChatGPT could do, and I was amazed. And now I look what we can achieve today with copywriting, imagery generation, and we have these things called AI agents coming, you know, need to learn about that. So it's moving so fast, and our teams need to keep up to date with it. I think the other interesting thing is we have three different people on our team that do the image generation. We're talking about the humanity in this. And each of those different prompters, if you like, designers, always come up with a different handwriting. So
they come up with a?
They'll be prompting into AI on a particular theme, but their own personal style, their own personal interpretations are very
coming
evident.
Through.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So our creative director will have one style, and then we have a young girl that does it. She will bring a slightly different attitude, but still with the same alignment that we need for our forecast. So we get these different viewpoints through AI.
So it's almost like AI kind of like expands, I mean, is aligning with the DNA of the creatives that are working internally.
Yes.
But like, so, you know, sorry to go back to that, and it's a little bit of a tricky question, but it means like when you say your team are keeping up with the new technology, it means like, do they need to train themselves on new tools or go around and try new things, or like what, you know, in terms of adapting to new technology is a bit, it's a bit of a change, it's a bit of an evolution of your job as well.
Yeah, so, you know, for us, we started with static images. Now it's all about video imagery coming through in AI.
Okay.
So the teams have to keep up with how do I take that image there and turn that into something that is moving, that has a human interaction that comes into that space. How do we align music with it? So rather than static trend presentations, we see that, you know, multimedia presentations for AI, for trend will come through. How do we overlay pattern? How can we create patterns within our forecast that are also available?
Okay. And another question about, you know, the sort of like I would say the collaborations between the human-led insights and AI-led content. When you collect the data, you said about it earlier that it's part of the structure in place and that it's human-led, but isn't it a great tool potentially to also test like the findings that you are coming up with your team in terms of predicting, you know, the forecast for the next seasons and years?
So without using, not from the image generation, but from more research, maybe it's GPT or other models, we can put our assumptions, you know, we can get AI to help justify why we are thinking something. So, as an example, nostalgic themes we believe are rising. So we can use ChatGPT as a researcher to tell us why. This is our hypothesis. Prove this to us. How is this same idea working in fashion? How is it working in travel? And justify its reasons and get it to challenge us to make sure that we are correct, but it doesn't do the actual forecasting.
Okay. So it's kind of like testing and confronting and kind of like confirming the results. Philippe, obviously we have, you know, the way you're using AI is particular also internally. How does AI work for a brand that's developing products in collaboration with the creative DNA, not only of the brand, but also of the creative talents you have in-house? A little bit like Michael was saying from his part.
Yeah, I'm not sure there's much impact or there's much change. I mean, we start from the DNA, we start from who we are, from what we want and how we see our evolution. And then we work with these values and with this information to develop collections and to bring beautiful things. I'm not sure there's a big impact from AI. What do you think, Michael?
I think in terms of the collaboration that I see working with Ethnicraft is we will come up with these initial ideas that you see there. And we will have collaborated with his design team as they've been coming together based on the research and the structure and understanding the brand. Then their designers might use AI to look for other interpretations of that as they're going through their design process. And then they will use that human interaction, as I said, that human side to actually do the drawings and to develop the product through.
I see. And so in terms of like, because now you've been integrating the, AI within your processes, so within your, based on your structure, is it actually involved at every stages? So when you actually meet with your team, do you integrate AI within all of the structural questions that you drive with your team? So is it like you think AI constantly in a certain way, or is it happening at specific points?
It comes in at certain points.
Okay.
We still keep our very human analog structure of how we research, of how we research, we assess, we qualify, and then we forecast.
Okay.
So AI comes in just at the end. Once we have done all that research through this system I spoke about, it's then that AI comes in, and that's when we use it for the prompting and the image generation. And then there is a tenacious process that our team go through to keep. That's why there's 55,000 prompts, because this one, no, this one, no, this one.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it comes in at that point.
Because you could also imagine, AI kind of like changing constantly and evolving extremely fast, that you could almost think of ways you could enhance some of the other parts of your process through AI. Do you see what I mean? So it's kind of like, it's interesting to think about how AI is also becoming, to some extent, potential ways of thinking that you could kind of connect to other parts of your activities. Do you see what I mean? Like testing new ways of enhancing what you do.
For me, I think that's probably a future position.
Yeah.
I don't know yet.
Yes.
But I suspect in time we will develop our own AI agent that we will teach our robust analog system to, that it will be able to do the research that we do ourselves and provide the proof points to then start to interpret where aesthetics might be evolving to. I think that will happen. I suspect that will happen in time, but for us, it's not yet.
Not there yet. And therefore, if we think about, the present and the development of the technology and how we interact with it, from the experience you've built throughout the years now, would you have some kind of like guiding points or directions that you would perhaps suggest or recommend designers or brands to take on in terms of the mindset they should be in to welcome AI and to use AI to its full potential, and whilst obviously securing and protecting the work and the insights of the teams? Philippe, I don't know what you think about that.
Yeah, I think it's not a standalone. So you will always have the brand values, the practices you developed. You will always need curation. You will need much more than only AI. Obviously, there will be some need for less resources. So there's a job of designer or some part. Let's say if you have a team of 4 or 5, maybe you will be fine with 2. That is a possibility. You need to be realistic in that. I mean, the classic way is taking much more time. You still need to keep it in some way, but AI will definitely take over some of that as well.
And your team, the team that your team who are collaborating with you directly, how have they welcomed AI and how have they been kind of like interacting with AI so far?
Yeah, I think it's always a bit, some are embracing it very fast, others might reject it in the beginning and are very, try to keep it distant or far away. But at the end of the day, everybody will have to embrace it. I think it's overwhelming, and it will be part of the whole process. So for sure, something to embrace.
It's about integrating it as a partner and making it like completely part of the process to make it valuable.
I think so, because another point which goes more, is not so about creativity, but more about production. It also will have an impact in production. You will start to generate images, and then you will be able to turn back that information into how to produce it, into the materials you need, into a bill of materials, into a cost price, into so backwards to
Can
production.
you develop on that? That's
No, I mean that
really
we don't have that ready yet, but I mean it definitely goes into that direction, whereby you will be able to create an image, and you will have very fast, or if not immediately, you will have all the information about production. You will have your technical drawings, you will have your bill of materials, you will have your price information. You will. So that's the other side. It's not about showing creativity, but production-wise, it's also part of the evolution of the technology.
So is this an assumption that you have today? Like you think that it goes so fast that you can, you can foresee that it might happen quite soon?
I think so,
or is it something you've actually even perhaps, encountered, or in discussions with other professionals?
No, I think some design software is already integrating parts of it.
Okay.
But not all yet, but I think it's going to go very fast, yeah.
Okay.
I can pick up on that. Yes, we see this starting to happen now, where you can put an image of a cabinet or a chair into that we've created in AI, give it the right one measurement, so it might be the seat height. AI will work out all the other dimensions and deliver a 2D drawing within about 3 minutes. And then you can get a render in about 30 minutes. So once we know the DNA of a product, and we can get an image in about 3 minutes.
Yeah.
So about 36 minutes, you can go from an inspiration to a basic render. So I think this is going to change. It's not perfect yet, but we see it coming.
It's a revolution.
This is coming. So it allows that. And as Philippe was saying, the next level is to go to technical drawing into costing programs. So the future that we see will be inspiration to a costed product. And then if you think about the marketing angle of that, I can be testing what my market wants through social media well before I've even made a sample. Yeah. I think this is a really important point.
I mean, the actual process in furniture is very slow, right? I mean, it needs prototyping, it needs materials, it needs special molding, it needs machines. It's very slow, also compared to fashion. Fashion is much faster. Furniture is very slow, so it needs a lot of time. Before you have the cost of an item, it can take weeks or if not months. Imagine applying this kind of technology, you have it straight away. It's a world of, it's a very big difference.
So, a bit, like, are we scared or are we excited or are we both? No, but I mean, it's a bit of a joke question, but more, I wanted to go back to the question I was asking earlier, Michael, because you mentioned this idea of like, going from the inspirations to the costing and the production side of things. This impacts obviously also the new generation of designers and creative professionals, and that was the point I was asking Philippe earlier, like, what would you recommend this, like existing generation, like other creative professionals, how do you recommend them to basically adapt and position themselves towards this technology that is here and here to stay? So,
I think it must be embraced.
Yeah.
For a start, because if I look back, and I've been around a long time, before there was CAD, before there was any computer-aided design, designers would draw.
Yeah.
CAD came, and there was a resistance to this CAD, and now it is a part of life. So I think the position we've taken is we must embrace, we must work with it. There'll be a natural order of how it sorts itself out.
Yes.
But to reject AI at this time because we don't understand it yet, I think is mistaken.
Yeah.
We must embrace. It's like we've heard people talk about. It's a bit like thinking that Instagram is just for sharing family photographs, like 15 years ago, and now it's the basis of your business model. So it's really important that it's looked at.
But also, I mean, because obviously there's a resistance to a new technology, which, as you were saying, is happening all the time. I guess there's an element with AI that feels so, in a way, simple and fast that it's a little bit, we might feel a little bit overwhelmed by it or very surprised. But don't you think that to some extent, the way it could be seen for creative professionals is that there is a part of their added value, the absolute essence of their creativity, which is basically also, you know, a big foundation of both of your businesses, is here protected and very clear. But, you know, how do you make sure you identify what you're the best at and only focus on your added value instead of perhaps spending hours on parts of the, you know, parts of the process that are a little less based on your talent? Does that make sense, what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think for us, our job is to inspire, is to research and inspire people in that next part of design to then take it further. So we don't call ourselves designers.
Yes.
We don't design. We create
Yeah,
imaginations forward. So we don't look at that next part of CAD, for example, that or how do you get that next drawing. We might collaborate with designers
Yes.
to do that. So I think we all have our own part in the
Totally.
in the process.
But from your end, would you say that it could be the way to, you know, to adapt and embrace the technology by actually refocusing on really what the added values are?
What I think is that knowing your talent and knowing who you are, for us, it's the structure of our research around trend forecasting. That is the basis. Because if we didn't have that, we would just get visual noise in the images that are created. And I think there's a misnomer about AI at the moment that you just push a button, and we have this from a lot of our clients. Don't you just push a button and the image comes up? And no, that's not our experience. There is process, and there is research, and there is, as you're speaking about, my human, from our prompters, their experience and the humanity that they bring into the prompt that creates the visual. And then with a brand like Ethnicraft, it's understanding their aesthetic DNA, deeply understanding that aesthetic DNA, to then interpret and create new ideas that are challenging and moving forward. You need all of that before you do that, before you start to use it. That makes sense.
And so, I mean, it's a bit connected, but like, therefore, how do you think potentially AI would shape design education tomorrow to some extent? I know it's a little bit, it's a bit of a, sorry.
That's a really big question.
But it's a discussion, it's an open space to reflect on.
I think the new courses will be about prompt engineering. You know, be doing courses in design and prompt engineering as opposed to a design, perhaps. Rather than a degree in architecture, I'll be going to a degree in prompt architecture in architecture, or urban design, or product design. I'll be learning more about the prompts, but to do that, I must also learn about the history.
Yes.
You know, I've got to learn about the history and the structure and the disciplines before I do that. So I think that's where it's the inspiration part and the design part that is getting faster.
And Philippe, for instance, in terms of like, you know, building your team, developing your team, like thinking of the future, do you feel, it's a bit of an outside of the box question as well, but do you feel that you would consider or you would add to the requirement for new potential addings to your team a certain understanding of the AI tools, for instance? Is it something you would potentially consider?
Absolutely. I think that our product management team has been trained, and everybody, we require everybody to master or to at least be able to work with Midjourney or with other AI programs.
Okay.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a necessity. Again, as Michael said, it's very important to know about the history of art, the history of design, but you need to combine it with modern tools. I mean, there's a whole bunch of skills and that are not used anymore, or that will evaporate and that will be replaced by AI. But you still need that backbone, that the knowledge of design, of history, of a lot of elements that you still can't lose. You need to have these, and at least, and for sure for everyone, they need to know very well about the technology, or they need to be able to prompt and to generate themselves.
And in terms of time frame, this is something you've actually started to implement a little while ago, or?
Yeah, it's all relatively recent. I think
Yeah.
it's all the last 1.5 year, last year, and then again, if you see also the evolution of these AI programs, the way they evolve. If you see Midjourney 6 months ago, or 3 months ago, or today, I mean, the speed of perfection of the speed of improvement is very fast.
Okay.
And I think we're in that, I don't know, that wild, wild west of this early part where there's so many. I think it was Nano Banana, what was ever came out from Google image generation this week, and then Midjourney, and then DALL-E. They'll all be competing against each other to get the right ones. And at some point, I expect it will settle, and there will be a few that work. It's a scary and exciting time at the same time.
Yeah. I mean, you know, from a different perspective, I'm also integrating AI within my, you know, business model completely in a completely different way. And it's exactly what you're saying. It's like it's a bit scary because certain things that used to take a lot of time are actually going incredibly faster. But it doesn't actually remove the added value that I was talking about earlier from what we deliver. And we're actually refocusing our activities on what we're actually, you know, expected to deliver, which I find really interesting, because then we can only focus on what we're best at instead of having all of the rest of the processes that takes time, but that's not really the most interesting thing to do. But in any case, one thing that comes to mind straight away is like, am I actually super late in the game? You know what I mean? Because it feels, when you talk about AI, and I think that's also part of the fear, is like it goes so fast that you feel like, are you on track, or are you already a little bit behind? How do you guys feel, actually?
I think, you know, we had dinner with a client the other night, and who said he just loves what we're doing, etc. He said, but you guys really need to stay on the ball, because everyone else is going to catch up to what you're doing, and you need to be that one step ahead. And that's the challenge for us. How do we keep staying ahead? Philippe is getting his team to do AI. You know, so what is going to be the unique proposition that a trend forecaster has as opposed to a designer within a furniture house? And for us, it's that deep knowledge and the research. So I don't know whether we're late or early, to be honest. I just know that we need to keep learning, and we must keep embracing. It's too important in the way that the world is changing. It's the next revolution.
Yeah, it enlarges the possibilities, so you need to embrace it, you need to play with it, and it's fine. I mean, even if you start now, it's not too late. Also, the furniture industry is very slow. Again, it's a very slow industry, so it's fine. Everything is, but you need to embrace it. You need to study it. You need to learn. You need to be busy with it, because it takes away, or it changes the business a lot.
Yeah, it's about adapting.
Yeah.
I wanted to open the floor to questions. If anyone has any question they would like to ask. Yes, we have the gentleman.
Hey, my name is Felix, and question is to Michael. I was wondering, how could you now research and find new trends in the world where internet is fully filled with so much AI-generated images that it's already, as you show here, so hard to distinguish between real and unreal. So how you can still build new trends, find new trends, identify them without falling into the trap of amazingly rendered images that you just get lost in?
I think it's a great question. Thank you. I think it's the balance is having that. So we use the word trend, but it really is a very overused word today. We really, if we look behind that, we talk about aesthetic evolutions. It's all the evolution of aesthetics, especially in furniture, but also in homewares. These trends and these styles evolve. So I think within AI, a lot of what I see in AI image generation becomes fantasy. Wonderfully, really exciting elements that are quite a fantasy. Our job is to make them, is to look at that evolution, but make it commercial and within the cycle of consumer acceptance. That's really important, because that's where that's what's the end of the day, what we're trying to help our clients make more money by having more relevant and commercially appropriate product. And we're not going to do that if we take them too far early in the trend cycle or too far out of what the consumer's eye globally is ready for. Does that answer your question? So.
Anyone else? We have, sorry, 2 questions. We have time, we have time.
Hello, thank you very much for this very interesting presentation. Myself, I'm not a specialist of IA. I'm just discovering it and using it, doing my little prompts. But I'm just wondering, in terms of, as an interior architect, doing plans and things like that, and for the young generation, are there any interest still to learn AutoCAD or Sketch or anything like that? In fact, maybe in the future we'll do everything with EA. And which does it already, those systems, do they already exist, and how we can have access to that?
In terms of that really deep design element of interior architects and things, like I can't speak from a really qualified perspective, except to say I have seen AI programs where you just move to try and get the right yield, for example, within a floor plan. You just move and it's calculating the right yield and the right directions for you just moving. So I think this is going to become a really important tool. If I think about maybe office design, how you can maximize space in office design, I think it's already here. I don't understand a lot of it because I'm not an interior architect, but I've seen it, that it's revolutionary in architecture as well.
Thank you. I think we have another questions there, and that will be our last one.
Hello. Thank you for your very interesting talking points. I'm wondering if when you're doing your prompts or when you're using programs like ChatGPT and all the other ones, do you use the whole images of the whole world, or have you like personalized spaces where you're looking for your images? I don't know if you understand. I mean, when you're doing ChatGPT, the program will look the material in the whole world, and I'm wondering there.
What material? Sorry, you're saying the material?
Pictures, information, everything.
Yeah, when you input the image.
Yeah, knowledge, pictures, everything.
Yes.
But you can personalize for your own research. I mean, you can. How can I say it?
You mean AI agents that are kind of like reacting as
kind
your...
of just like, est-ce qu'on peut purger dans son propre matériel? Enfin,
dans son propre...
oui,
ouais.
Je peux faire des recherches sur comment dire, sur les moyens mondiaux, ou est-ce que...
Sur les moyens, pardon?
Mondiaux.
Mondiaux, ok.
Enfin, faire des recherches.
It's not an easy field, hein?
No, it's not easy, and I'm not using it a lot, but I was wondering if I use it myself as a designer, I can have my own database where I'm looking in, not because I don't want to steal or I don't want to take pictures of other people.
Okay.
So I can my own database with my own pictures, with my own thinkings. This is a question.
Did you understand
the material?
I think so. I think so.
Okay.
Sorry.
The best results we find is, yes, these 55,000 prompts that we say that we've spoken about. So they all held within our AI database. These are our images, and when the personalization, the deeply rich and constructive prompt goes in that has the personal opinion of the prompter, always gets the magical result.
Okay.
I hope that's explained. Maybe we can talk after.
Do you understand?
I think I understand what you wanted to say, but I don't think if it's really the answer of my questions.
Okay, well, we can further discuss about it
I guess
after the talk.
I'm not the prompter.
You're not the
Our
prompt. Yeah,
prompter's
it's not the
sitting
prompt.
so
But no, but
maybe we
because,
can
for
talk to our
instance, there are
prompters, yeah.
companies, there are big luxury houses, for instance, that are developing AI creative tools that are
Exactly.
actually working in closed circuits. So they're basically not collecting information from anywhere. They're just using their own database to
Material.
actually prompt and create various designs, and this is for copyright reasons and things like that. So, for instance, you know, you've got groups like LVMH. They've developed their AI laboratory for years, which allows them today to work in like closed circuits internally.
Exactly. That
So-
was exactly my question. If you use this kind of thing, or if you're just looking everywhere.
We are not in a closed circuit as
No.
yet, because sometimes we may need to put something, in terms of a trend or a style, we may need to put a classic piece within there.
Because it limits how you feed your AI, and therefore your AI is a little bit too young to kind of like interact with you in an interesting way. So you need to have obviously an interesting and large database of information so that it actually works well. I mean,
Yes.
I'm talking about something that's, you know, I'm not an expert myself, but this is the way I understand it.
I think the question here is about authenticity and integrity. You know, how do you keep your AI in having integrity so that it is not copying other people's design ideas? And I think it's a really challenging question, because I see designers walking around this fair getting inspiration from other people. You know, all this stuff comes together in the inspiration. Inspiration is a collective process. I don't think it's necessarily an individual process, but it's a very real question. How do you protect any design IP? And I don't think I have the answer. Sorry.
Thank you very much. I'm going to have to say goodbye because we have a next talk coming. But really, thank you so much for being here today and listen to us. Thank you to our wonderful speakers and for sharing some really useful insights. And we wish you like a great show at Maison&Objet. We hope you have a great day, and see you soon. Thank you.
Thank you.